Spicy?
It turns out that if you leave Bangkok and start driving west, then keep going west when the highway turns north, and just keep going after you cross the famous River Kwai and the road turns to dirt and you pass through jungles and forests, by the end of the day, you'll end up here, at a quiet pond right on the border with Myanmar.
Now, these guys having alcohol, having a fresh fruit,
I know,
have a fresh food, weather.
I know, right?
Need for life, you know.
This is the end of the road and the finish line for the most unexpected adventure we've ever had on OTR. This is the story of how we went from a planned shoot in Kanchanaburi to traversing mountain paths looking for the border, and how we ended up here, eating somtam and fresh-caught fish high in the mountains in a place unlike anywhere we'd ever been before.
မင်္ဂလာပါဒီတစ်ခါမှာတော့ OTR Food History Channel ကတင်ဆက်ထားတဲ့မြန်မာအစားအစာအကြောင်းဗီဒီယိုကိုဘာသာပြန်တင်ဆက်ပေးမှာဖြစ်ပါတယ်ဒီဗီဒီယိုကတော့ OTR Channel ကမြန်မာနဲ့ပတ်သက်တာကိုပထမဆုံးရိုက်ကူးတင်ဆက်တဲ့ဗီဒီယိုပဲဖြစ်ပါတယ်ဒီဗီဒီယိုထဲမှာတော့ထိုင်းနိုင်ငံဘန်ကောက်ကနေမြန်မာနိုင်ငံနယ်စပ်နားထိလာပြီးမြန်မာမိသားစုတွေနဲ့တွေ့ဆုံစားသောက်ကြတာကိုမြင်တွေ့ရမှာဖြစ်ပါတယ်ဒီဗီဒီယိုကြိုက်နေတဲ့ဆိုရင်သူ့ channel ကိုလည်းတွားရောက်အားပေးပြီး subscribe လုပ်ပေးကြပါအောင်လို့တိုက်တွန်းပါတယ် channel မျိုးဗီဒီယိုထဲမှာစတန်းထိုးထားသလို decoration ထဲမှာလည်း link ထည့်ထားပါတယ်ဗီဒီယိုကိုအဆုံးထိကြည့်ရှုပေးပါဦးခင်ဗျာ
Is this closed too? All right, well, so much for that idea. Let's go back to the main road. In an alternate universe, or if we hadn't run into a dead end, here's what we were going to film. The idea was to go to a town called Kanchanaburi and eat a bunch of food. I mean, there was more to the plan than that, but it doesn't really matter now because obviously it didn't happen. No worries, we can also just skip this restaurant. It's not a big deal. Yeah, okay. I don't really mind. What did happen was we hit a dead end and had to turn around and get back on the highway. And this was one of those stretches where we'd have to drive like 20 more minutes to find a place to U-turn to get back to Kanchanaburi. And we were 3 hours out of Bangkok and I was starving. And before we ever found that U-turn, we saw a place to eat. So that's where this story will begin. A stop along the Highway 323, 130 kilometers from home, at a countryside restaurant where I just wanted something to eat. Oh man, you can just smell
You see that smell?
the fermented sour sort of taste of this, but
the bamboo is sliced like so tiny way that you put in your mouth, it's just melting, you know. I gotta try with the bamboo. I have to see the fish. Oh man. You see the taste?
oh man, the kanamjin just melts. That is so fresh.
Swiping that.
One of the best things about eating in the countryside, and this goes for anywhere in the world, is the unpredictability of what you might find. In places far away from grocery store chains and population centers, ingredients start to really matter. Like you're probably going to be eating the stuff farmed or fished right there and not somewhere in another continent. And also there's the local traditions, food passed down through generations by families who opted out of the crush of urban migration and held on to something that once lost is irreplaceable. Now, maybe I'm over-romanticizing it, but forgive me for a quick digression. After all, I'm a guy who grew up in rural mountains, suddenly finding myself away from the city. That gets me feeling philosophical. I was born in Manhattan, but when I was young, we relocated to Central Virginia. For most of my life, I was the outsider, the guy who had big city roots in a small town where most of my friends and neighbors still went to grandma's every Thursday and spent Christmas with cousins and nephews and great aunt Bernice, who was the only one allowed to make the eggnog because nobody else would add enough rum. To me, the cities were where the action was and small town life was something from a Steve Earle song. It wasn't until I moved half a world away and started bouncing between massive cities of 20 million that I started to understand how much I missed the peacefulness, the country roads and the old traditions, and meals being something eaten over a continuation of a years-long conversation rather than just a quick bite on the go. Anyway, we had two directions we could turn once we left the restaurant. Go right, get back on the highway and find our way back into Kanchanaburi for our video shoot. Or go left onto a country road pointing high up into the mountains and try and find our next meal somewhere far away from anything. We went left. For some people, maybe it's Kerouac or Robert Pirsig that first lit that fire of yearning for the open road. For me, it was Hunter S. Thompson. We were somewhere around Barstow on the edge of the desert when the drugs began to take hold. I can recite the whole first page from memory. This was a watershed moment the first time I read the book, the first time I understood the freedom in just getting in the car and going. We pinned a destination about 50 kilometers away from Kanchanaburi. Here, if the map was correct, we'd follow roads numbered 323, 3343, 6018, and finally a dubious one without any name or number, with the goal being a restaurant that from the little bit we could find online looked to specialize in local food from the native jungle. By now, the idea of our well-researched original shoot was pretty much out the window, and we recalibrated to a new goal. How far could we go, and what would we find in a day trip west from Bangkok and still make it home in time to walk the dogs? Feel free to jump ahead a minute, but I'm going to interrupt the video just to show you how this lady here in the mountains cooked an omelet. This is insane.
ชื่อสมหมายค่ะอยู่ครัวสมหมายไซโยกก็ถ้ามาเที่ยวที่นี่นะคะจังหวัดกาญจนบุรีอำเภอไซโยกก็คืออาหารอร่อยอากาศดีเป็นธรรมชาติร่มรื่นค่ะ
So you see, today we have a completely different dishes. You can't find that kind of dishes in Bangkok. That dishes is originally from here. So we're gonna start with that fish. It's a pa lat kueh. So you will be shocked. That fish actually coming from Cambodia, and that fish migrates to Thailand a certain time of year. They catch that, and you can have that. It's so fresh. This fish is calling a pak kang. That just getting from the river Noi. That we just cross by. It's from here. And that is a chicken with a salt. This is a very simple dish, but they marinate for few time, like a 2-3 couple of hours. And that is the most interesting part of that jungle curry. When you can see that the spicy around there, the chicken. This chicken is not the chicken you normally eat from the market. That chicken growing, it's like some kind of pet. They feed them with the rest of their food. It's growing in their house. So in Thailand, they're calling it kai ban. What is translated to English is a home chicken.
It's not factory chicken.
No, it's not factory chicken at all. They not feed that with any chemical or any other food. They eat the natural things.
So we have home chicken.
Yeah.
We have mountain egg.
Exactly. So this is the egg pukao. So pukao is mean the mountain. So that egg actually, the taste, according to the chef, she explained that it's going to be like a sarapao. Inside it will be soft and melted. And then we got a mushroom. And that mushroom has a back to history. You see the mountain behind that restaurant? It's coming from there. It's organic, and that they can get like a 3-4 times a year. It's normally after rain. It's growing up in the rainforest, the forest.
So the word that we'd use for this is hand foraged. Somebody went up into the mountain,
exactly,
found the
took
mushrooms,
that.
and
the people who found that mushroom, they have to be careful because that mushroom grow among also the dangerous mushroom that you can consume that. So you need to know what exactly you're eating that.
Now next I'm going to find out how good they are at spotting healthy versus poison mushrooms.
You see that? You can find that available, not everywhere.
I'm not good enough as a YouTube host to describe that. It's like exponential mushroom. That's so soft and pillowy.
Exactly. Easy. You see that? Nothing can beat this.
By now, it was around 3 in the afternoon, and we'd been happily at this restaurant for about 2 hours. Here, this stop had been worth every minute, as all the dishes were made from scratch, and to really appreciate the countryside, you have to embrace the slow. Once again, when we left, we found ourselves with a decision. Go straight, and the road would wind further and further into the jungle towards the highest reaches of the mountains. Go left and retrace our steps back to where we came from. Or go right and follow the map back towards Kanchanaburi on a different rural road. Well, that was what we chose, to slowly work our way home. Except, my map was wrong. And after 20 minutes, I realized that I'd sent us down a series of paths that as our cell phone signals faded and we went deeper and deeper into the wilderness, we now found ourselves completely lost. We were somewhere in the mountains of western Thailand. We had no cell service. We'd already blown our chute for the day. We were surrounded by mountains and jungle. And looming just a few dozen miles further, the national border and the country of Myanmar. A lot of our best stories were the unplanned places that we've been. I mean, a lot of the highlights of my time anywhere around the world was always when you didn't necessarily plan on going somewhere, and then, as the time in Zambia, we got caught in a thunderstorm and ended up meeting people we're still friends with to this day. I mean, I can go through an endless amount of places that we've been that we didn't intend to go and ended up sort of taking everything in a completely different direction. I don't know what we're going to find this way. Again, I don't have the benefit of signal. I've got 0 bars, which in 2022 is a little bit disconcerting. I need to spend a minute talking about why this mission started to feel so important, and that's because of the country somewhere just over the horizon, the country of Myanmar. Now, Myanmar is the country that shares the longest land border with Thailand and a place whose history is closely linked with the country. It's also, at least for me, a total blank spot. In the whole time I've been in Asia, there's been a total of something like 3 years when the country hasn't been in the middle of a civil war. I've never been there. It's the only country in Southeast Asia where I've never been. It wasn't until I moved to Thailand that I even really experienced Burmese food. While you can find a Thai and Vietnamese or Singaporean restaurant almost everywhere, Myanmar is a giant mystery, forgotten by the rest of the world thanks to 2 centuries of war, conflict, and rebellion. And then there's the Thai border itself, well-traveled by tourists and backpackers to and from Cambodia and Laos. But the Myanmar border is largely part of what's called the Golden Triangle, one of the most notorious and violent opioid-producing regions on Earth. Now, I've been near dangerous borders before in the 3 months Daria and I spent driving across southern and central Africa. Here, maybe we couldn't enter war zones like Somalia and South Sudan or outbreak sites like the Democratic Republic of the Congo. But there was still something wild about getting right up close to where you could actually see the land and the cars and the people and realize, or at least internalize, that these were actual places. Not just news items or statistics, but lands with homes and offices and amazing food. Now I couldn't believe that I could potentially be about to experience the same thing with Myanmar just a few hours from downtown Bangkok. Maybe we didn't have a map, but we had a direction. We would drive west until there was no more west to go.
Oh man, it's a beautiful place.
I never know where to put my hands when I'm taking a picture. I'm like this.
We got some nice. Oh man,
I look like I'm trying to sell you the lake.
real estate broker.
All right, I think we can get back in the car and keep going.
Yeah, sure, man.
Yeah. So we're gonna go wave across the border and then make our way back home.
Let's do it. Let's go.
That was a little bit disrespectful. Where are we going? In the morning when we hit the dead end, and just a couple hours ago when I took a wrong turn leaving the restaurant, I tried to hide it, but I was panicking. Now, as we made our mad dash for the border, we literally had no idea where we were at all. We were totally and completely lost. We hit dead end after dead end, stopped a few times for directions, and tried, sometimes in vain, to keep the arrow pointing west. But somewhere in between the stress of feeling helpless and the knowledge that my dogs were waiting by the door for their evening walk and the frustration of getting nowhere, we all started to remember the good things about those simpler days. We weren't nowhere, we just weren't where we planned to go. But couldn't we just enjoy the magic and rolling down the windows to feel the mountain air and seeing places we'd never been before and just turning ourselves over to the experience? Maybe there was magic in not having everything go perfectly. Somehow we'd forgotten that for thousands of years, we all did just fine without relying on the constant presence of all the information the world had ever gathered available at our fingertips. And maybe there was something more fulfilling about looking out the window instead of looking at a phone screen. And just like in those ancient days of the 1990s, I don't understand how, but somehow we found our way. So you see behind me, there's a police checkpoint that's unmanned right now. Behind the police checkpoint, that's not Myanmar. But if you round the corner and then you go past the lake and this turns to a dirt road, that is the country of Myanmar. So we are at the very end of Thailand to the west, as far west as you can go directly from Bangkok and still be in the country. And I would tell you that this, where we're stopping, is the last restaurant in Thailand before you reach Myanmar. That's not true. There's one more place right next door, but it's a pizza place. And we figured, well, let's stick with Thai food or Burmese food. I don't know. All we found out is that this place serves one dish, which is chicken noodles. And I ordered a plate. Had a blast today. And what do we say? We always start filming thinking we're going to film one thing, and we end up going in a completely different direction. And never have I regretted that any less than I do today. This was a lot of fun.
ได้ขึ้นไปข้างบนยัง
ยังครับ
ข้างบนมีอ่างเก็บน้ำนะขึ้นไปดูได้วิวสวย
อ่างเก็บน้ำประมาณกี่กิโลนะครับ
อ๋อไม่ไกลหรอกขับขึ้นไปมันจะมีด่านตชดกลับขึ้นไปได้เลย
Okay, Adam.
Yes, sir.
If you're going down there, there is like an Angkep Nam, the viewpoint with the water and around surrounded by the mountain. It's not too far. You want to check it out then?
What is it?
It's around like a 500 meter from there.
Okay.
You want to go?
Yeah, it's 500 meters. We might
Yeah.
as well. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
So we're gonna talk.
And that is how we ended up here. Following the
nice.
sound of a mortar and pestle to a Burmese family spending their afternoon catching fish and making som tam, a peaceful day spent together in a remote village at the very end of Thailand.
You wanna try? It's going to be damn spicy.
Well, we've reached the end of the road. We are at the Myanmar border, and we found some really nice people who Adam is currently trying to enlist as subscribers to the OTR YouTube channel. They've shared their food with us. They're making fresh somtam, grilled some shrimp. They're fishing. And it's just nice because, again, we live right downtown in Bangkok, and to have the clean air, as I have the cigarette in my hand, but to have the fresh air and the beautiful mountains all around us, and the elevation's higher, it's nice and cool outside. Just an amazing place and such a cool part of the country that, you know, was obviously this was a day trip for us from Bangkok. We're going home after this. So to know that we can reach this in one day and come back to somewhere like this that just, you hear nothing. You just hear each other talking, and there's no sounds of the city around us. And yeah, so we've gone as far west as we can go, and any further, and we're out of the country. So yeah, this has been our road trip on OTR. And that is the story of how we spent a day on the open road, found some of the best food of our lives, met some of the nicest people, and came face to face with the country of Myanmar, and still made it home in time to walk the dogs and throw on a TV show and get back almost uninterrupted to our normal lives and routines. But with a new, or at least a renewed appreciation for the open road, for villages and mountains, and plunging into the unknown come what may, even without a map. There were so many roads untraveled for us that must hold their own secrets and stories and incredible food. And no matter where we went, next time we'd make sure to remember not to let the destination get in the way of the adventure. Thanks to everyone supporting us on Patreon. We rely on your support and really do appreciate it. Find links below to our website and also to our Instagram and Facebook. And please don't forget to subscribe to this channel for more From the Road from OTR.